Welcome to the final lesson in this course. During this module, we've looked at the first steps in marketing your store, from optimizing your website to gathering customer feedback, but those are just the basics. Running and growing your business will be an ongoing process, so you have to be open to experimenting, adjusting, and learning from potential mistakes. Getting the first sales is always the hardest part. It's very common that your first customers might be your family and friends. But once your store takes off, it's all about expanding your reach and solidifying your brand. So it's important you keep monitoring your results. Monitor your store's activity. Check the demographics of your store's visitors. Who are they? Where are they from? What age range do they represent? Knowing who's interested in your products can help you adjust your messaging and make shopping in your store feel like a more personalized experience. If you see that some of your products or designs are not performing as well as others, think of ways you can make them more appealing. Create a special deal for these products, highlight them on your social media accounts, or offer these items at a discount as a bonus at checkout. On the other hand, if some of your products are seeing great sales numbers, think of extra promo activities. For example, set up extra social media ads for the product, create a bestsellers category in your store and feature it at the top of your page, plan a giveaway on your social media with your top-selling designs, or offer a bigger variety of products with your best-selling designs. If you're selling a popular design on a t-shirt, add it to other products, for example, hoodies, posters, or mugs. Follow your niche and market trends. E-commerce trends come and go, even within a specific niche. So for your business to keep growing, you should always keep your finger on the pulse of what's popular with your customers. Follow popular creators within your niche. Be active in interest groups that cover your target audience. Look for new platforms you might reach potential customers. If you're actively following along with what's trending in your niche, you can get new ideas for designs or products. Listen to your customer feedback and see how you can apply it to your store. If a lot of customers are interested in specific colors or sizes that you don't carry, see if you can introduce them to your selection. Also, keep an eye on your competitors. Learn and experiment. With the ever-changing nature of e-commerce and digital marketing, you have to be open to learning and trying out new methods and strategies. Print on demand is a great business model for experimenting with your products and design collection, since you don't have to print your products in bulk. And you should also be flexible with your marketing efforts, especially at the beginning of your e-commerce journey. There's so many approaches you can take, not all of them will end up working for your brand. And that is completely okay. It will take some time for you to find your golden formula. But there are so many resources that can help guide you on the way. In this course, we've covered the basics to get you started, but there are many in-depth guides on different sides of running and marketing your e-commerce store. From tutorials on how to use Printful's features, to in-depth blog articles and videos about marketing and design, be sure to use these educational resources. We're here to help you make the most of your online store.
Oh, no, no, hey, hey.
Congratulations on finishing our course for print-on-demand beginners. I hope that these video lessons helped you with learning more about the POD business model, setting up your Printful account, and publishing your first products. Setting up your own e-commerce store is a great achievement, and I hope our video guides have made the process easy for you. Now, as I mentioned in the last lesson, don't forget to keep learning and growing. Explore our other video courses and individual video lessons. Your notes and the extra resources for this course will be available for you at any time. Learning is the best way to grow, so once again, congrats on mastering our course. And remember that the road to e-commerce success has its ups and downs, but regardless, stick with it and we'll be there to support you along the way.
And I passed! I got it! I passed!
David Salesef from Printful. In this course, you'll learn how to define what a brand is, research your target audience, figure out your brand values, find your brand personality, and create your brand name and identity. Under each lesson, you'll find a short quiz you'll have to take in order to move on to the next lesson. After you complete the full course, you'll receive 200 points you can exchange for Printful perks. So, do you want to figure out the ins and outs of creating a brand? Well then, see you in the next lesson. Alright, let's start with the basics. Before we get into the details of how to create a brand, we should answer the question, what is a brand? A brand is an elusive concept, so there are many answers to this question. A brand is a promise you attach to your product or service. A brand is a memory jogger of who you are and what you can do for the customer. A brand is the image people have of your company or product. British business tycoon David Ogilvy, sometimes referred to as the father of advertising, called the brand the intangible sum of a product's attributes. Its name, packaging, price, its history, its reputation, and the way it's advertised. We could settle on this definition. A brand is the starting point for the relationship between your business and your customers. A brand is, in a way, much like a person. It has its history, an identity, a personality. It attracts people or puts them off. Creating, or rather finding out what your brand is a complex process, but one that in the long run will benefit your business. A well-crafted brand will increase awareness of your company, build trust between you and your customers, help you stand out from your competitors, and ensure your customers do the work for you through word-of-mouth marketing. Remember, ultimately, the brand is defined by your customers, not by you. You can influence their opinions by knowing what you want your brand to be and working towards that. But in the end, your brand is what your customers say it is, not what you want it to be. You probably don't need to think too hard to come up with companies that have good branding. Coca-Cola, Apple, and others like Nike or Starbucks are examples of brands with excellent brand equity. Brand equity is the value that the brand adds to the company. Let's say I'm selling a white t-shirt for $25. A brand like Gucci selling that same t-shirt could afford to put a much higher price tag on it. Let's say $150. People would still buy it because of the Gucci brand. But what kind of things can we brand? In short, almost anything. It isn't only companies or products that can have a brand attached to them. A person can have a brand, like think of the Kardashians. During the 21st century, even countries have begun to take an interest in branding themselves to attract investors and tourists. When you're building a brand, think of how you want to set up the structure. The structure of a brand is often called brand architecture. Figuring out what type of brand architecture you want to adopt will be like a roadmap to your brand identity. In this course, we'll take a look at two different types of brand architecture: product branding and corporate branding. If you're a Printful user, chances are that these two will be the most relevant to you. So let's go over each of these strategies and then look at the steps you need to take in order to start building your brand. The most cited examples of companies that use product branding are Unilever or Procter & Gamble. Unlike popular brands like Coca-Cola or Nike, these two never use the company name to market their products. Instead, they create a distinct brand strategy for each product. Think about Dove and the body spray Axe, two entirely different brands with different audiences and identities, but both belong to Unilever. The parent company is barely even mentioned, except perhaps in small print on the label. If you choose to go with product branding, this means your messaging will be narrower than with corporate branding. This is a good strategy if you want to build on different concepts that cater to different audiences. This allows for more leeway in your branding strategy. When the market changes, you will be able to adapt your product or create a new one. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a specific product. You can build several small stores that each cater to a different niche. One of your stores can sell to travelers, whilst another one to homebodies. But if you want your business to resemble a brand like Apple or Adidas, where all products fall under one distinct brand, you should turn to corporate branding. The name corporate might sound slightly intimidating, but you don't necessarily need to have a corporation to use this branding strategy. Corporate branding means that the company itself is at the center of the brand, like Apple. iPhone, iMac, and iPad are all different products, but they all fall under the umbrella of Apple. That's what makes them so valuable. If you go with this strategy, then the values and reputation of your business are of utmost importance. Your company has to be able to evoke trust in the customer. This means that your messaging and the channels you choose will be wider and more general. Product branding focuses on the qualities of the product, whereas corporate branding focuses on the spirit of the company. There's a lot more ground to cover, but if you do it right, the payoff is higher too. Good examples of companies that use corporate branding are the shoe brand Doc Martens or the outdoor apparel brand The North Face. So if you want your brand to resemble one of these, build one brand that caters generally to one niche and create your products under its name. A brand consists of both tangible and intangible elements. Things like a brand name, logo, and visual identity are tangible and visible to everyone. But on a deeper level, the brand needs values and personality, the intangible elements to truly ground it. To build a well-thought-out brand, here's what you'll need to do. First, you need to research your market. You should figure out what your target audience is, what your competitors are doing, and how you can differentiate your brand from theirs. Second, once you know the environment your brand will exist in, you need to start laying the foundation. So what will your brand stand for? What will be its personality? And how will you describe it to your target audience? And third, when you're certain about your brand, you'll need to think about how to express it to your customers. So you'll need to craft a memorable visual identity for your brand and find a recognizable brand voice to communicate with your target audience. We've got the basics covered. Now let's talk about each of these steps in detail. But what kind of things can we brand? In short, almost anything. It isn't only companies or products that can have a brand attached to them. A person can have a brand, like think of the Kardashians.
So it
During
says
the 21st
persons,
century,
people.
even countries have begun to take an interest
Countries
in
and
branding themselves
businesses.
to attract investors and tourists. When you're building a brand, think of how you want to set up the structure. The structure of a brand is often called brand architecture. Figuring out what type of brand architecture you want to adopt will be like a roadmap to your brand identity. In this course, we'll take a look at two different types of brand architecture: product branding and corporate branding. If you're a Printful user, chances are that these two will be the most relevant to you. So let's go over each of these strategies and then look at the steps you need to take in order to start building your brand. The most cited examples of companies that use product branding are Unilever or Procter & Gamble. Unlike popular brands, the first thing you need to do is figure out your target audience. Who is your customer? What are their values and beliefs?